There we go. I think it's gonna work now. Hell yeah, we're on YouTube. We're live. Let's do pop out chat. That's good enough. And then I can just minimize this, huh? And then I can dance. Oni cha cha da 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 da. Very musical here. We're gonna get some Godot going. Holy shit, that's a lot of people. Let's test what we got. Hell fucking yeah. What would you say is the easiest way to implement online multiplayer but not local online? Well, easiest is a tough question. Like, easiest in terms of like the code or connecting, or there's multiple ways to think about easy. Um, but not like local online. You mean like LAN? The easiest way is to follow my YouTube video tutorials. That's for sure. So go check my latest video for the getting started. If you want to play test with your friend from around the world, well, you've come to the right place, because I think the easiest way to play test specifically is WebRTC and WebRTC multiplayer peer. So that's a special kind of Godot peer. So let's get our screen moving, because I'm in the wrong screen here. Got this. Doot. This WebRTC system that I'm going to demo for you is definitely the easiest way. So what this uses is a asset store thing called Tube, simple online multiplayer. And it uses WebRTC, which is what Google and Zoom use for video communication, but we can use it in Godot. It's all right here. So you'll be able to send someone a link, have them copy a code. So code-based joining to join a lobby. You could join this session with me just right now if you had this project. Drop in, drop out. That means I can leave and rejoin from anywhere in the world. Hello, PC Head. How's part 2 going? It's going to be a little tough because we have to split this stuff up and like make it easy to follow. And I have the recording from my previous stream, and I've kind of almost one-shotted it last time. But what I'm going to do now is basically git diff, kind of, yeah. Let's say finish tube client, push that up. And we want to do a little bit of cleanup. I think the main thing that we want to add is a name on our menu, because people really want to see their name above their head. I think that's really compelling. So, pretty easy to do that. Let's say line input. But I think I'm going to get this out Friday, which would be, what, tomorrow? Yeah, I think I'm going to do it tomorrow. If filming goes well. If it doesn't, then I might take my time with it. I really want to nail it, and you don't get a second chance. Yeah. Username. And say input user name. So always like to preface what the type of node it is. And so I didn't get that. Now we can do this. We can do this. What if we change, is it value changed? Input username is a line edit. I'm hoping Steam sanitizes username a little bit. I'm sure there's some interesting names. Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. I don't think they will. They'll just display all 5,000 characters if someone. I think there's like 24 characters. There's a limit, right? Signal. What is the value changed here? What is the. We got to figure out what signals we have available. Good thing we have Godot docs. Text changed. Text changed. There we go. That's what we want. I call RPC function a client to retrieve data from, and client calls a second RPC. So I want to retrieve data from a specific peer. Do I have to use 2 RPC functions? I mean, typically, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because you can't return a value directly. I think there's some kind of creative ways you can do like a coroutine and some awaits and some creative stuff. But an RPC down and an RPC back sounds fine. You can also use, remember, you can use your thing.rpc ID, and when you RPC ID, you can send it directly back to that peer. And the way you can get a peer is you can say multiplayer get sender ID, get remote sender. So you may not know about that, but that'll get who sent the original one. So this is the first one, and then the server can say like, once they get onto the server, they'll be like, okay, server can reply with RPC ID back to the person who sent it directly. That's only in the case that no one else needs to know. Usually that would be just like direct communication. I would say we're going to connect a function. And now this function is going to be spicy. It's going to be global.username. Yeah, global.username. Sure. How simple can it get? We could store this on network. Should we store this on network? Or the global? Because, oh, this was the other thing I wanted to do was to store a list of all players and just have them visible in your session. Make that function be a network singleton. Yeah, it sounds fine. Whatever, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of using this network singleton. We're talking about these global auto loads. And I'm wondering whether I should locate the player's scoreboard and stuff. I feel like it's kind of just like about the game rather than about the players. But do you think that we should have a like player list here? It's more like about the player bodies though. And this isn't the network place. This is the network tab. I feel like there's enough here that I don't want to like pollute this with player related stuff like scoreboard, and I'm just gonna put it here. Yeah. So if we don't do that though, if we don't like keep a player list, what has to happen is on this main menu, we have to store this somewhere. It can't just like it has to be on global universe. Okay, listen, global.username. We'll make it as quick as possible. Var username string. Okay. Now, what happens when a user comes in? We've got a couple of different options. The thing we can do in the ready function is if we are the authority, so down here, we can set our nameplate. Great. And so what this will do is that'll do it, but it won't persist to other players because we're only setting it on our authority. So let's take a look at what that looks like just so everyone's on the same page. We say create. And then I go here and join. I typed in EFEF. I guess I can't see my own nameplate, but we can tell that didn't work. That's fine. Near expected 0 arguments. Text changed. That's also helpful to get the right. We need 1 argument. We didn't even set it. That would be funny. That'd be fun. We should set it. Is that right? Is this gonna be? Is that really? Yeah, because this text change says new text, right? New text. Boom. All right. So if I type here, create a session, and then I type here, create a session, they shouldn't see their nameplates change yet. But if I were to look at my nameplate above my head somehow, it's funny, I can't see it. It's probably like in my skull or something, or just out of reach. I probably billboarded it only in a certain direction. But now we can fix that. We go to the property to sync, nameplate, boop, text. And then I get to explain that do not use on change for everything. Only use things for on change that very rarely change. And in this case, this almost never changes. I wonder if we could use never. We're going to test that. Yeah, I'm naming I'm going to put Andrew. Okay, Andrew, bunch of things, paste, boom. Works. Of course it works first try. Now, the only thing it works first try, it's always first try because I had 100 tries before this that were off camera over the last like 3 years. I'm curious now if that never bit works or not. Because if we set it in the ready function, I feel like it's not gonna percolate. It would have to be set. Yeah, it would just remain. Yeah, it would just remain the ID because never is like basically sharing the init value. I forget what never does, honestly. I'm a little sleepy. We'll just say, yeah, the tracks. Oh, spawn. Yeah, yeah. So spawn. That's another variable if it's done on spawn. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, we never get it wrong. We never get it wrong here. We already know everything. JK, JK, JK. We've learned. We've struggled. It was just all 24 to 48 months ago. Um, yeah, so that was one of the features, the little enhancements that we wanted. The other enhancement is color. We can do a quick color picker on our main menu. Horizontal H bar. I want an H bar. What is the bar? It's like a divider. Do I not get a divider here? I swear I got a divider somewhere. Like, maybe I'm just like thinking of front end. The main lobby system works different. Maybe I should use multiplayer spawner and synchronizer. Um, you can use a lobby system. It's gonna be more complicated. Separator, here it is. H separator. It's just called that. It just didn't pop up. And then this should have some override, theme override. Does it not allow you some, was it constants? See it? I'm not on the right thing. Theme overrides, constant separation, 12. 24. Didn't know you could favorite properties. Yeah, actually I was gonna make a YouTube about that, a little short. So one of the most useful favorite properties that I like is these transform anchors and stuff. So you can favorite anything you want. Like another good one is like the font size on like a label. It's like way down here in theme overrides. So you could favorite that, and then you could pump that up to 24. And then when you click this one, it's right there at the top. Yeah, yeah. So there's like a whole suite of tricks and those things you just learn by osmosis. And if you're working on your own, sometimes it takes a YouTuber or something. Because some of these I picked up from YouTubers. But yeah, I have this one favorited too, Anchors preset. That's really handy. So you can just like swap this stuff around real quick. But I need to unfavorite them because people will be confused. I was actually testing a few things, but we want to have a base. In fact, I think I'm actually going to go and grab Godot release candidate. The latest will basically reset my entire Godot, which may be painful, but that's cool because what that'll do is allow me to encounter anything they might. Because I have, darn, I've already got force. I've already got the RC for. Yeah, I think I already have this. No, 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 no. Is this? Yeah, this is 4-6 RC. Great. Okay, yes. I didn't think I have this one. I do not have this one. I'm collecting all my Pokemans. So yeah, this will be a fresh copy. So I'll encounter like things like export templates and, having to allow list stuff, and that'll make me preempt any bugs people will see with the setup that we have. 4.6.1 RC1. Hell yeah. That is a distinct, never before seen Godot version. Okay, back to the script. Okay, so what do you want to see in the next video in terms of gameplay feature? Yeah, this one is already going to be longer and more ambitious, but let's go over to GitHub. I feel like I keep cooking up these like cool things I can say in the video, and then I forget them, and then I come on here and I forget them some more, and it's all good. Mm. Oh no, I've added the entire WebRTC library. We should amend that. Should we amend that? It hasn't changed in quite some time. It's only slightly inefficient, but it's kind of a step that they'll need for their other projects. And it's a better way to, it's just like this one, I think is just fine to have out of the box though. Okay. What the fuck is this? Why am I not navigating to what I want to see? It's strange. It's like, here's a new feature. It's exactly what you don't want. This is an important change because, yeah. Godot, clipboard, copy to clipboard. I know that. It's just not going to work on the web, I'm pretty sure. Unless I hack at it. Input callback from the web platform. That makes sense. User action. You probably change the copy of the clipboard after user input is detect clips with the oh no, a JavaScript bound eval. Oh boy. I don't like that workaround at all. Oh, this is the guy. You know, it's so funny. You just kind of come to these same people over and over in the Godot community. I've used his game template before. It's kind of fun. Would this be a hack? Nothing. We're just hanging around. Yeah, yeah. So some people build like this guy has a template that helps you like build games. Like just looks like this. I think I played this little game that he has built into it. It's cute. It's a nice little template. But I was like on a random GitHub issue and I found that yeah. Godot snippets.js. Godot. Where's the snippets? Snippets. There it is. Let's see what he does here. I mean, it's just basic form stuff. It's pretty simple. That's so interesting. Don't do this. No, I'm just kidding. That's cool. That's cool. It's very, very cool. I don't recommend this route, but it's definitely cool. So they've basically built like a little copy thing. It is. What is this really how we want to do it? I don't think we want all that. So they're summoning an entire HTML, JS, CSS thing. And that allows copy paste. Okay. So when we are in our network script, it's just one line to get the clipboard and, you know. Yeah, it's right here. This clipboard. Mm, yeah, I mean the join code is it's got to be short. I got to keep it as short because I type every sentence. But I don't want to use more outside things than I need to do. Oh, the code is short. Oh, you're saying the actual code? It's only 5 fucking letters. Duh. It didn't work when I tried it on the build that we have out there. Um, and I can do that. I can just do run in browser right here with this cool thing. So we don't need a session ID. We just do this. We're in. And this button right here should copy in the top left. Yeah. Let's see what it says. Oh, it works. Interesting. Then why didn't that work on itch? Excuse me? So this makes me think that, let's test it again on itch. Project, export, HTML. Let us export project. I feel like we should export with debug. I'm sorry. I'll do it. Okay, there it goes. This is going to be a little bit bigger in terms of file size because it has debug included. It's about browser standards. It's basically they're trying to be secure. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'll let you just read that real quick. Be right back. No, let's try. It's a good idea. No, it doesn't like it. The copy to clipboard will work on any executable project. Yeah, it already works. What about this? I'm really curious why it worked on localhost, but yeah, it's still not super happy there. It's how itch.io is embedding this. That's why it worked on local. Oh, I'm not owner here. I gotta go over. Let's see. Hmm. Oh well. The only thing I could think of is that I could add a like an input node or a text edit, and maybe like under the hood, like copy this text. Huh? There we go. Well, I guess I could test this without having to boot the whole thing if I just use my one that I have here. Hell yeah. You just hit 100? Amazing. I don't know if I'm at your... I gotta get at your YouTube videos. Didn't work. Let's go to channel. Hell yeah. I know I've seen your stuff on other Discords. Let's see. Maybe even Reddit. 101, baby. Let's go. Actually, I don't know how many you have. Yeah, you got 102.
A game dev tip
I might have to watch these more offline. Like, I don't want to blast people with.
for multiplayer.
I didn't have time to look at them.
Hosting servers can be expensive, especially for indie devs. Instead, we can use peer-to-peer multiplayer. This way, we don't need a central server. Players can connect directly to each other. Usually, one player hosts a lobby, and everyone else connects to it. To make sure everything stays in sync, the host player becomes the authority. For example,
Nice.
in my game, if a player wants to earthbend a rock, they send a request to the host, who then creates a rock and tells all the other players to create a rock too.
Very good.
If you're making a game in Godot, check out the Godot Steam extension. You can get peer-to-peer Steam lobbies working in no time.
Is that
Such a more
true?
simple way to play your
Your video is so good because you have actual editing. This is a nice short. It's great. And this peer-to-peer, this title, like, people love that. I'm gonna watch all of them later, so I can like make sure I don't skip anything, because the algorithm loves when there's like extended viewing time, you know. Very cool. I didn't know. I didn't think to have clicked on your thing, but yeah, now I think about it, I did see some clips like early on. It was very good. Congratulations. Yeah, YouTube has been a really cool way to, I don't want to say grow, but like just at least have some eyeballs on what you're doing. Whereas when I was on Twitch, and I was on Twitch a long time, like my Twitch chat today is completely blank. And yeah, these yeah, just YouTube's been much better. Yeah, definitely. Motivation helps. The accountability helps. Every little bit helps when you have such a tough task, which is building these games. Yeah, I'm kind of excited because I haven't gotten burned out. I haven't felt burned out as much as maybe I might have. So, yeah, we're going to just skip that whole thing. Like you said, the code is not that long. And, you know, if they're playing on a PC, which maybe they will, you know. Not everybody wants to go to itch. So we got the username, session ID, color. I think we're not going to do, because that involves material manipulation, duplication of material, then some like kind of. And then part 3, I think we are going to do like this bow and arrow type stuff. Maybe I could work on some of that tonight. Yeah, scoreboard, kills list. Oof, this is where it becomes a real game. Okay. Finals task. This is how we begin filming. We're going to have to just figure out what order we do things in, and we can look a little bit at our commit log, and we can open up a previous one. Huh? Why would you do this to me, Mr. Godot? I know you're trying to protect me, Mr. Godot. Mr. Macintosh. Open anyway. Open anyway. Yeah, so we were reviewing this PR as well. And we got hung up on this copy to clipboard thing. So we added this immobile stuff with the menu because we added, yeah. Okay. I think we can do that. This didn't get any changes, right? Besides the like maybe the label. Oh, the copy box button leave. Yeah. Oh, look how nice and neat this is. That is just an incredible job. We don't need this. Handle 2 bear needs to go. Okay. That's very important. I don't know how I'm going to track all this shit besides just like taking a series of screenshots and sticking them together so that I can. It just might be the play. Yeah, we're not going to last very long tonight because I am sleep deprived. But that's okay. We'll be all set up for tomorrow, where the real fun happens. When you have these stun servers, turn. That's not what I want. Turn server. List of turn servers. They're in dictionary form, are they? Oh, shit. Oh, the turn server. No. I can't give away my API token, or else people might use it for nefarious purposes. Shit. My turn credentials are private to me. Because we do a fetch here. And I could build a turn server for myself or whoever wants to use it. All right. We are not going to do that. Let's see if there's any good like bow and arrow Godot. Ooh, baby, let's check this out. 4 months ago. All right. Let's skip through this real quick.
Hello. In Godot. Before we begin, let's quickly go
Godot.
over what
That's not the right vector. Really? Maybe it is if you just place it in the world and make sure you have it rotated the right way. Maybe that is the right vector. I guess I'm wrong. I recognize this guy. Is this the guy? Yeah, I see what else he's done. No? Yeah, the RPG controller, yeah, yeah. Wow, he is cranking stuff out. Wow. Okay, that's some clickbait right there. Whew, okay. Yeah, I think I need to prioritize the template. I can't get sidetracked into cool stuff like the but let's continue doing my review of my own code. That's literally it. That is so short. That's good. Um Hello, Ratch Knight. Hello, hello. We're joining session. Didn't work. I think I forgot like one of the most important things, but it's not a big deal. How are you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Good, good. Yeah, I mean, I had quite the day at work. I had a production incident from like 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. and then now I'm streaming. So ran across your series on YouTube and the channel disappeared, but I just found it again. Yes. Welcome, Token. Hello. I've got two chatters here. Yeah, I'll be fine. I'm having fun. It's just going to be a shorter stream today. No 10 p.m. nonsense. I've maybe got 40 minutes left in me. But yeah, I've got one more couple things to do on this template. The mining scanner is functional. Mining operational. So GXGYG. I pressed the right buttons. It didn't work. What do y'all think? It's like almost as if it doesn't have a XYBWX join. Nothing's working. It's great. Good night. All right. I've been looking around and making interactable terrain. You're right. It's crazy. Good night. Good night, PC Head. Good night, Andrew. Yeah. So the next, so terrain is really interesting. I implemented some wandering terrain. Wandering clip map terrain it's kind of interesting. There's a couple of techniques here. One of them lets you create these grids that are high fidelity close to the player and low fidelity further out. And he does such an incredible job in this video. Especially, I've been looking to dig in, working on a P2P multiplayer game, and you've been a huge inspiration. Yes, thank you. You can do it. I'm aiming to inspire, give people the power, the tools to do it. But yeah, so you can have infinite terrain based on a height map, and it just like basically detects the texture and shifts the player. It shifts it's pretty cool. So they get some really cool results out of it. And I set this up and it worked. But the problem was is that your information is all in like the shader pipeline. So to get your information in and out of the shader pipeline is like pretty challenging. So that means like when you add collision and objects and like I was trying to get my grass to line up on it, it was hard. Yeah. That too. That's a whole other thing. But there's another thing I saw in Godot recently. Let's see. Was it destructible? I think it was actually a Unity thing, which is kind of sad. Let's look at my saved posts. It's not here. Disaster. All right. Anywho. Oh, it was like a voxel with shading. Smooth shading. Voxel smooth shading. Shadow. Oh, it was so cool looking. Exactly. You just have to have your voxels super small so they don't look like Minecraft or anything. Unless that's your. I think like Minecraft just occupies just such a massive like um brain space that I don't want to look like Minecraft. It's like immediately people go, "Oh, it's Minecraft." Yeah, it is. You use the same voxel shape. There it is. Hell, fucking yeah. We're gonna save that. All right, everyone, feast your eyes. It just, even with this no texture, looks so much better than. And the great thing about this smooth shadow approach is it doesn't look like any other voxel engine. Like I was like blown away. Packing colors is going to be difficult. I have a budget of 16 bits per voxel. Is using 4. I might drop the extras. I don't know. Chunks are 64, 64, 64. Bump that up. So you can just work with smaller worlds. You just have chunks that are smaller. So Alien, I realize, there's literally no games that does it like this. Yes, it's true. Yeah, big fan. Big fan. And this is in Godot, everyone. These are not your average devs though. That's not for me. And plus, like, to make a voxel game multiplayer, you then have to get the map right for, you know. Wait, how did we break this freaking game? We didn't even change. What the hell did we change? Username? Uh-oh. I can't be that. Can't be that. How did we do this? This is just working. Oh, okay, we're back. Yeah, that was what it was. Okay. We're going to export on Mac. These are kind of our final like quality checks, so try not to change anything silly. Destructible terrain to me just seems like it blows up the scope of your project in a way. It'd be fun for like a sandbox. I mean, like, I would love to do it. It's just like my goal at this current state in my game dev career is to make any game, a small game especially, one that is constrained in a way that has interesting things and interesting challenges, but is short and doable, and maybe some procedural generation of like what I thought was going to be tunnels or forests or whatever. But procedural generation is more simple than making dynamic and morphable voxel worlds or massive persistent worlds like Valheim, Minecraft, etc., especially ones that are modifiable and then persisted across the network. So I'm trying to keep the scope doable because so far I have not found a doable scope. Might just do another game jam or two, you know, just kind of be like, you know what, let's jam. Let's jam. Mm. Ooh, very spicy. We are going to test our co-op template and then our co-op template. This is a stupid thumbnail. E9SAN. Oh, that's the username. I should type it in the right spot. Yeah, of course it works. You don't do anything silly. I don't think I'm going to do any optional gameplay things. We're just going to rip it all out and... Well, we could allow up and down aim for balls. Add walls. Add timeout to self-destruct ball. Let's try that. Let's see what we did. The username, removed that. Separator, string, good. Get add. Add name, username in global. I like that. Let's add the walls, but let's try shooting the ball. Let's make the ball so much smaller. Let's say our ball is now down to 1.2 kilogram, and the collision shape is now 1. Let's say should we do 0.1? Holy shit, it's so fast now. Oh my lord, it's like a lightning bolt. That mask really made a huge fucking difference. Holy God almighty, Jesus. Joseph and Mary, let's go back up to 1. That was crazy. Dude, it is. These balls are just, they're going. How are they so, okay, so there's no way that if I put it at 3, it'll drop right down, right? Because, like, the way, oh, it does. Wow, that's pretty cool. I like trains. We need to put a train. They're just all saying, they're going crazy with the 1. How's it going, Toby? We're just making some tweaks to our new multiplayer template that's gonna go live not long from now. So top level, I don't want to do this. Can we do a lock? No. That doesn't make any sense. What am I thinking? Okay. Is there a way to make non-authoritative server for more than 2 players without desync issues? Okay, so let's think about that. So a non-authoritative server means the server doesn't have full authority. That's pretty easy. Just give the players authority. And then the second part, without desync issues, that'll just depend on how good the connections are between the players, because they'll be responsible for updating themselves. So if one player, so the benefit of that is that if you have like 5 players and one of them is lagging, the other 4 people, they have complete control. They're fine, and they see each other fine. It's just that last guy, he might see the other players lag, and he might be laggy on the visibility of theirs. So to counter that without desync issues, I mean, you're just going to have to implement some advanced things for tick interpolation, or just make sure your networks don't suck, and it should be fine. Especially with client authority, basically the player who's moving has smooth experience, but they don't even know they're lagging, except they might see other things lag briefly, and they should catch back up. And the server's only there to handle things that are neutral, like in my case, bullets. So if I join here, you see these bullets have the server ID 1, right? And then this guy joins the session. Yeah, have a good one. Yeah, take it easy. This guy, he needs a peer ID over him. All right, so now I have my peer ID above me. So I'm having a good time. And then another guy comes in here and he's laggy. Since he has client authority, he's going to have a bad time because he's lagging like a goofer. So they see him lagging. But the other people, they're just fine. They're reporting themselves fine. They're smooth. But this guy's over here. He's having a terrible day. But on his machine, he looks like he's fine because he has control. What's up, average Godot enjoyer? Happy Thursday. We're almost to Friday. Oh, God. Please help me. It's a rough one out there. I'm not going to last very long. Friday should be more lightweight. Highly recommend Clumsy. It wants to test their multiplayer locally. This is true. I should use Clumsy more. I should do real world network tests. I've done some real world network tests. I've done people, just the other night, I had people from Australia and the UK, and we were all playing pretty decently together. Like, I didn't take official measurements, but it was a shared experience in this little demo. Not much going on, but it works. And the cool part is this is all P2P, no server, so, and client authority, like I was saying. So definitely use Clumsy. The unfortunate part is I'm on Mac and there are tools. Fuck, I think I saw a tool. I think it's a paid tool. Mac, simulate, network, lag. Ah, there's a fucking app. Comcast. I got there. I clicked the link too. Oh no. Oh my God, it's an actual Git. Oh no. It's a Go library. It's just, that's actually very funny. Yes, I can speak from experience that Comcast definitely has this reputation, this packet loss, chaos engineering. Yeah. On Linux, does this work on Mac? I don't want to install Xcode. That's the last thing I want to do on my machine. So, the Linux kernel has TC built in. I do not think I have TC here. Yeah. Wanulator. This looks like the fucking sketchiest ass shit. These are all links that I've clicked before. Yeah, it doesn't look to be a good consensus, but it does look like Comcast might be the winner here. Oof. Good Chinese program, many safe. Ooh, yes, please. I have state secrets to share with any catfish out there. Just hit me up. They're serving the motherland out there. Okay, we did that. We were gonna add these collision shapes pretty quick. So we pick world boundary collision shape. We've already got that one. Basically, we need 0, -1. That's good. And then we say transform -50. Go this way. So -25 is halfway. And so then it would be 1. So it's facing inward. Duplicate. Unlink. Transform 25. Turn it around. Boom. Finally, duplicate both of them. Well, we'll do them one at a time. And then unlink. I love the unlink button. Thank God. Next thing, we say 0, -25. It went behind us. No, not Y. Z. It went there. And we say Z. It would be -1 facing. And we get rid of the 1. There we go. 1. Okay, we didn't do that cleanly, but you know, maybe when we do it for real, we'll do it super clean and it'll be really impressive. Oh yeah, transform. All right, so now we have a completed world boundary. Let's see if that worked. Yep. Cool. Collision shape. All right, so what are we talking about here? I missed a couple of chats. I'm sorry. What if the physics aren't perfectly deterministic? How do you clients agree on what is happening? So perfectly deterministic physics. So it depends on if you need your physics to be gameplay driven, or if they're kind of just like fun stuff. But the thing to remember about physics and multiplayer in general is actually best said in this Unity Authority article, and I hate Unity, but I do references. Let's see if I can find it. Unity Network. So their docs, even their docs don't load the page that I will. What are we doing here, everyone? What are we doing here? I clicked the authority link and it took me to the generic fucking top level. Okay. This is the only good thing Unity has ever said. The authority of a networked object has the power to make definitive decisions about that object. Each object must have one and only one authority. So what that means is that the physics will be determined by whatever has authority over that object. And to take it a step further, what I do on my players is I actually, if it's not multiplayer authority, I set physics process false. I set process false. I turn off the state machine. Nothing runs unless the authority. It's the authority. So that just helps keep like fighting over the authority, the position of something. The object will get the physics information from the authority. In the case of this demo, which we'll boot up real quick, connect, join, and on the left, you're going to see all the peer-to-peer debug information because I have that on for this kind of purpose. Pick a color, start the game. So a bunch of packets get received, transferred. We agree on to join. The color didn't come across, but whatever. So everything in this world is has an authority. When I pick this up, I gain authority over it, and I toss it. It's all in sync because I'm reporting the position of that rock until I drop it. Because I actually set multiplayer authority on these things. And then if I pick up a cart, same deal. I can get in the cart and run around. Wee. Tell me if you know. Anavita Tokyo. Pasifroyo. Oh, Pasifroyo. I don't know how to. I saw this great video with a cat. I've never seen that song. So I should just have this project be like a demo project. That's probably what this whole thing needs to be. All right. Sounds like a fun thing to implement with UDD packets, and you should figure out what game I'll make. Yeah, that's hard for me. I'm having a tough time with what game I'm gonna make more than anything. That's why I'm making all these tutorials so other people can make the games, because I'm too stupid to figure out what game I want to make. Well, I just don't have any ideas. I just need an ideas guy. Oh. I'm in trouble. Okay. I have too many ideas, but due to my ADHD, I don't finish any of them. Yeah, you're looking at an idea that got unfinished, right? Oh yeah, so there's their peer IDs above them. I hate this program. I hate this game. This game sucks. Goodbye, project. Suffering, suffering, suffering. Yeah, we're suffering. What's the difference between a quad mesh and a plane mesh? Anyone know? Quad meshes use 4-point polygons. Plane tri-meshes are regular triangle meshes. What the fuck? What did I use? Quad mesh. Plane mesh uses a 4-point polygon. Oh, fuck yeah. I get that because I can subdivide this motherfucker, right? And I can't do that with the quad mesh, right? Well, I guess probably could, but if you do this like 10, 10, then it should be all like subdivided. Why can't I see that? Maybe I could if I didn't try planar. We're learning. No. I would expect this to subdivision to happen. Maybe I missed it. But it would basically be like in Blender when you subdivide a thing that, like when you're doing a height map. Convert all the triangles to quads. Yeah, that sounds like a challenge for show. Anyway, let's go back and flip faces. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. All right, this one. Unlink face Y. Face Z. Perfect. Final one. Unlink face flip face is face C. Boom. We have created an inescapable zoo for our noobs. Any noobs we want to. I'm going to put it up to like, yeah, I think I'll keep it at 4. Or just make the mesh instance 1. And then 2. Just so it's a little bigger. 2. No. What? You're kidding me. Quad are restricted to the fact that all vertices have to have a common plane, and then the rendering pipeline they get turned into 2 triangles anyway. Oh, fucking crazy. That does make sense. I would expect a quad to be more restricted. I'm wondering how I would have a How could I make a mesh with a... Wait, oh, you mean plane mesh are restricted to being a common plane? But a quad mesh, maybe it can have multiple, and it's already triangles, right? Or is a quad mesh... Is a quad mesh not triangles already? I'm losing it. I'm losing it. I'm sure it's all triangles under the hood. My 3D knowledge is like, you know, what it is. We have to be able to point upward. People expect this. All right. So let's add something to our shoot function. Facing dir. And camera. Dot. Looking into the distance. No, head. Oh, no, head doesn't go. No, we already got head. Camera. This is where the sleep deprivation is really hitting hard. Yeah, add that as the last one. Just, you know. Call it vert. This probably won't work. Where the fuck is it going? Let's try a different thing. Let's randomly poke at it until we get the right one. What do you think? The way we move the camera is X, but basis is going to be the Y. I don't know. It's like going wherever it wants to go. What the fuck is going on? Okay, so what? No, I don't want this. I don't want this. I want do I have to do array camera dot look? What am I looking for? What if we remove the facing dir and just think about the... This is where my everything falls down for me. Plane meshes aren't plane triangles. Names are weird. Holy God. Planes are triangles? Oh no. I'm confused. The Nintendo 64 is one of the few devices that actually rendered quads. Due to how restrictive it, they had to rework them. Holy shit. Nintendo 64 was weird for a lot of reasons. It's really interesting to know. Absolutely wild. Let's look at Z. That's it. It's a negative Z. All right. So now I don't think we can do this. We'll try. There are multiple types of trimeshes. Plane meshes is one of them. Technically, trimeshes different restrictions. I believe that. That makes sense to me. So we don't want to multiply this here. Or do we... Can we add them together? That would be kind of cool, right? It kind of works. Yeah. But the problem is like, it's like not global. I don't touch engines. Feels too high level, too disconnected. But look at the power that we just created. A shooting ball of stream of balls. So what do you program in then, Mr. Toby, if you think you've got too much power? Wait, you don't touch Godot? Godot's the best engine ever made. How could you not? How could you not? You can do without an engine. It's just harder. I think game dev is hard enough. There's plenty of challenges out there. Game dev is so much fun because it's so challenging. So I could theorize that because you find the fun in the challenge, that you might even want a greater challenge. You just want to play on hard mode. Super hard mode. And using something white space sensitive. Oh no, we're white space sensitive here. Don't knock it till you try it. I don't know if you come from like C++ or something. Use drops of rainwaters and canisters in binary. Yes, that's like the old magnetic filament in a magnetic needle in a hard drive, just etching, flipping your ones and zeros acoustically. Yeah, I don't think there's any. Yeah, GDScript is great, and the reason why GDScript is great is because it's like barely a language. You barely have to do it. It's like this is extreme. It's just control flow on really basic stuff that is built in. Like the power of GDScript is in the engine. Like camera has this function. This camera has this. So I'm just calling engine functions. So the problem is like you're going to use some level of abstraction, right? You're going to use a rendering pipeline like GL3 or Vulkan or something, and you're going to have, oh well, I'm going to put my pixel, I'm going to create pipeline, and you can do all that. That's definitely something you can do. Godot is great, but I'm not the target audience. Huh? Yeah, fair. But maybe multiplayer. Maybe you can get something from that side of things if you want to write your own networking layer. That could be interesting too. So now when we point way up, like we're noticing that the disconnect between where our pointing is in the center, we're not spawning the center of our screen, and that's because we're getting this pause here. This is just our base global position. I use OpenGL wrappers, but I do like Vulkan. Yeah. I've known a little bit about that to be afraid of it. I actually read this blog by Alias Daler. I don't know how to say his name, but he has a website. Let's see if continue to cite, where he writes these incredible blogs. And I read like several of these just to like really kind of just how I learned Vulkan and wrote a small game engine with it. Yeah. And it wasn't implemented general purpose, why it took me a few months and years to achieve this, making a small 3D game. And yeah, so I'll link this for you if you're interested in it. I love this guy. But I've read every line of this. Maybe I understood like 10%, but still loved it. Still thought it was really cool. My favorite language is assembly, and you never change, Toby. Never change. Never change. Great things can be written in assembly. You've chosen the right layer of abstraction for yourself, which is assembly. And now some people choose too high of a layer of abstraction and give it all up to LLMs and vibe coding. So those people are on the wrong side. I'm right there where I believe like Godot is like the perfect level of abstraction for me as a beginner game dev. And now I would say I'm like intermediate, or I have a couple years doing this. So I would never be able to make a game without this level of abstraction. Godot is such a great piece of software. It's just a delight to use. And it just meets all your expectations. It's lightweight, fast, it's fun. It's better than like 99% of slop software out there and anything Microsoft has ever done in their entire history. In a world of slop, be a Godot. Imagine your app having a few more megabytes. Yeah. I mean, the resource efficiency of Godot and compared to like the power that it allows is pretty impressive. Yeah. Token says, I love its size. It just does what it does. Yeah, it exactly. And I actually like I wrote an entire like blog post, like a love letter to this thing like years ago. There's never been a better time to learn game development or anything really. And I talked about how like, you know, I've learned anyone who wants to make a game can absolutely do so, but those who do it are absolutely determined. All you need is some persistence. And then the other half is Godot, lightweight, open source, easy to use, really complex domain down to its essentials and builds them back up. And like, it has high internal consistency. So once you understand one part of Godot, everything else will follow the same patterns and behave very predictably. So like game development is such a deep topic that this building up a foundational knowledge is so nice. Like switching from Node 2D to Node 3D. Like I don't need Node 2D anymore. I'm done with it. I learned everything. I've never thought I would make a 3D game ever in my entire life. But yeah, my little 2D games, and then I moved on to 3D and wrote that blog. So we want to get the camera. And this is something I should understand better too. Yeah. You miss out on the fun with the Swiss cheese documentation. You mean missing documentation? I would never. I can click on any number one of these things, like set input mouse mode. I just click right there. And I got this mouse mode, and I got this enum, this type right here, tells me each one of the fucking ones, 0, 1, 2. It is gorgeous. And if I'm tired of looking at in the IDE, I just hit this open an online docs button, and then I can browse it. Literally everything you want to know. It's perfect. It's the best documentation on the planet. And it's continuously improved and faster and better and stronger, and makes building games a delight and rather than a chore. But like I said, the challenge. I love the documentation, like to do right custom right documentation function. So you know what's funny? You can kind of get into that mode when you get deep enough into Godot where you're doing something very specific or you're encountering an engine bug. You get to go to GitHub and you get to see how deep the rabbit hole goes, because all that's under the hood. So you can write C++ with, you know, it's all written. You can go contribute to this, and it's a massive, massive project. So it's all there. The mess is under the hood, though. The side that it exposes to the user space is so nice. There's so much to be said about having consistent tooling. I haven't spent forever. Yeah, and it like interops so well with like Blender, obviously. So I was inspired. I was inspired 2 hours ago at Lost after setting up Webpack. I don't know what you're doing with Webpack in 2026, but that seems like a ancient tech, right? I think everyone's moved on, but I do like this image. No longer necessary. I think you're supposed to use Vite. They have a fancier website. Yeah, you know what you're doing. I was on production incidents all day today. I'm so tired, but I'm still having fun. I might make it till 10 p.m. my cutoff time, but we'll see. What are we doing next? We are gushing about Godot as usual, and then we are going to get the camera position. I've been feeding AI models video game lore to generate music. Interesting. Oh, I'm missing out on so much fun experience. I've never debugged a large CPP project. I'll never work in CPP unless it's for work. Fun experiences are very relative. So you say the word fun. I feel like I need like a second career in order to, I need to restart my career back in 2000. Well, I was like 10 years old in 2000, but 2010, start my career over. And so if you won't work in CPP, what are you going to work in? You're going to work in assembly? It's interesting. Hello, John Werner. Welcome back. It is going great. We are currently debugging a couple of things before we wrap up this session for the tutorial, and we've put in walls, and we've kind of like made this little ball that shoots. It behaves a little bit more like a bullet. We've added a username, so when people join, they can see I could just get that guy. So these are all little Rustify everything's all right. Wow, that's a good take. Rustify. Let's do it. Funny enough, I began my game dev journey in Rust because I was learning Rust, and then I saw Rust had Bevy, the Bevy engine, and I wrote my first game in Bevy. It was brutal, and I realized that Rust and game dev are not a great fit because Rust is all about correctness, and game dev is more about iteration. You love fighting the compiler? I do too, but I just like suck at it. So working Rust, too safe for me. I like Zig. Yes, that is the thing I would probably go ahead and do is Zig. And oh my god, my camera's over here. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Zig is great as well. I like Zig. I should learn a systems language like Rust or Go or Zig, but I think Zig would be a good one to pick up. So I haven't tried Zig yet. Okay. Yeah, you can. It's interesting. Bevy takes too much control. Let me choose what threads are launched and when. I think Bevy would be fun to experiment with again now that I know that enough about how the game work, how the game stuff works in general. But there was a blog post like Rust game lessons learned. So they said leaving Rust game dev after 3 years. It says basically dispelling some rumors around and feeling, saying what they thought. And this is not objectively true because there are other successful studios that still use Rust. I think Embark Studios of Arc Raiders fame is famously on Rust. And in their blog, they have Rust, inside Rust at Embark. So a lot of their graphics programming, I think, is done with that. But Log Games found that basically iteration, making fun and interesting. This is what I thought was most convincing. Making fun and interesting games is about rapid prototyping and iteration. Rust values for everything but that. So that's kind of where I was at. Bevy feels like a different language to Rust. Like vanilla Rust, yeah. I think I think I really appreciate Rust because it was my first experience really having to learn memory management because I've skipped over C++, right? So I never had to learn to allocate memory manually. I always had garbage collection, and then I could basically understand at a high level, but once I did Rust, I was like, oh, I've got the heap in the stack. I gotta make sure I manage my memory and clean it up. And yeah, so Token has a very similar experience to me too. That's cool. I'm glad. So it says, did you see the state of play for PlayStation? The games look pretty bad. I can't imagine something that I would care about less than the games in the state of play for PlayStation. I'm sure that was quite scuffed. That's funny. I did watch GDC, so that's as close as I would get. Sony sisters, no. I don't know. I've never been a PlayStation person. It's just life, though. GDC was such a toxic event this year. I think Valve is partially to blame for that. There's a game, the main character being a buff chicken that looked like Elden Ring. That's fucking weird. Elden Ring's a great game, but have you seen this Crimson Desert game? This looks sick. Like there is they've made their own engine here, and it's been pretty impressive. It's a single player game by the people who did Black Desert Online. But I think they just said like, hey, we're gonna do this open world thing, and looks like they're gonna nail it. Oh, you just want Bloodborne 2? You got to make it, I think. I think the rumor is that they lost all the source code for Bloodborne. Oh, you're not even talking about the PC port. You're talking about the sequel. We could get it one day. I mean, FromSoft has all the resources they could ever want, so just a matter of FromSoft doing whatever they want, and if they want to do Bloodborne. Somebody's like busy like decompiling it and porting it to PC. I've seen that on Twitter a few times. So I've never played Bloodborne, so if it comes to PC, I'll definitely play it. Rust manages memory for you. It avoids garbage collection with the strict type system. Talking about. Yes. Yeah, I know. And it's funny because Rust taught me how to do memory management so that then it could teach me how to do the Rust way. So that's where I'm coming from, is that you can't really explain the borrow checker and all that without saying like, here's all the memory stuff you got to know. So in my process of learning, I learned that. Looks like I've lost my cross-platform. Let's see if this works. Just being goofy. There we go. Social stream ninja. Randomize. I wanted to make a Souls-like game. I wanted to make a multiplayer Souls-like. Can you imagine a game that's more overscoped than? Well, I guess that's Night Rain or whatever they made, right? But this was before Night Rain was even announced. I was building a multiplayer Souls-like, and it's hard as fuck. These are all stuff. These animations are from Mixamo. I fucking hate Mixamo. That is what we got. Oof. Yeah. I don't know if here's your plan for part 3. I can the video so I'm breaking down peer communication correctly. A spawn object where a host is authority, spawning switching object, NPC communication client server to peers. Just find too many multiplayer tutorials. Here's how to add bullets. Hell yeah. You betcha. There's so much nitty gritty that I had to learn as well. And I've only built up these heuristics like over a ton of terrible things, including the game you just saw on the screen, which I can't like made so many mistakes. Like, but yeah, we are going to. I think one of the main things we're going to do is cover spawning for sure. Yeah. It's tough because every game kind of has slightly different requirements, but it's like what we'll need to do on part 3 is implement a not fuck, a funk called like take damage. And then when you take damage, the tough part is that if you take damage, you need that to be communicated to all parties on the server. And you need to have someone who's ultimately responsible for that communication, and sending and receiving can be pretty confusing. And this is, making sure you don't take double damage, and, making sure that the information arrives in the right place is really tough. 3 a.m. is it? It's not quite that late here. That's EU. So the tricky thing about something like take damage is that you might be this character and your peer ID is this, but this person, you have an exact clone of yourself on someone else's machine over here. So they're going to call to your player body, and they're going to call take damage RPC, and they're going to notify all the peers that have that body. All these bodies are the same body. It's just that you've got yourself on your host, but you have these other essentially puppets out here. And this got really confusing for me to realize that I don't exist in isolation as a player or as a peer. Like, I also have these bodies. And so client authority can simplify that in a lot of ways, because ultimately there's only going to be one person who's responsible for making that final update. Yeah, I think some cheap out and throw it out the multiplayer synchronizer is not always right. Yeah, yeah. So spawning and shooting bullets and stuff we're going to cover for sure in part 3. And this version is probably going to go live tomorrow or Saturday if I film well on Friday. We are so close to having this work, and the plan for part 3 is essentially to make this little like tower defense game where you've got a bow and arrow, and you and a friend are going to stand on a rampart and shoot down. That's kind of how I see it. This was a demo from Valve Lab. You might have seen it already, but in that shooting, hit recognition, spawning arrows, there are some really cool tricks I'm going to share in the multiplayer spawner. What you could do is you can assume some greater control over the spawn by using a spawn function. And when you add a spawn function, set spawn function over a multiplayer spawner, then you get to manually call spawn. Right here it says method called on all peers when a custom spawn is requested by the authority. So this gets it pretty clear about who's doing what. And what's really cool about that is that if you load up the object with the information it needs when it spawns, like a bullet. The bullet doesn't need a multiplayer synchronizer. So notice what we could do is we could just delete the multiplayer synchronizer on our bullet, load it up with its initial position and velocity, and it would do the thing. It would just go. Because it doesn't need to know, it doesn't need to like keep syncing. It can only travel in a straight line. That trajectory cannot change. So let's just test without a multiplayer synchronizer there. And then if I go here, so we're seeing it on the authority that everything's okay. But this player is only seeing them in the middle of the thing because they're not we removed the multiplayer sync. So we've got a desync. But if we apply the central impulse, if we set the velocity before, like, we give it linear velocity here, it might just travel in a straight line because we do this is part of the RPC. Complex topics. I'm kind of meandering a little, and that's what I don't like to do in my videos, but we're definitely going to get through all of the good stuff to make a real game and destroy enemies, clean them up. So we're gonna set ball. It is a new ball. I think we're gonna have to multiply this by some factor of small, like a force divided by 10. I think because this is gonna be huge. It's gonna be so fast. Okay, it's not that fast. Let's see if this works. No, the position is not right, but you can see it moving a little bit. Yeah, this is where we need the custom spawn function. So I'm not gonna let's not break the whole game. But yeah, I think there's definitely some other gameplay features. One of the things that I had a lot of trouble with was just a list of players and a scoreboard. So like we're gonna go over like how to like signal to UI. Kills, deaths, things are happening, signals are good, and who's responsible for reporting that, who's responsible for like respawning players, that sort of stuff. It's really hard, just like everything. Yes, that's a good point. You could theoretically, well, I think the multiplayer spawner would make sure that it applies the properties to that object if it's still around. Bullets are short-lived and only travel in one direction, so you know that they're going to be a certain velocity. You can just kind of point them in a direction and have them go. I've done it in a previous thing, and I meant to make a short about it. But yeah, multiplayer spawner is, I think, something that it's a high-level abstract. It's like, it's really painful sometimes, I've found. I found multiplayer spawner to be painful in spots. But because of what you just said, the drop in, drop out, like, I feel like I don't use it right sometimes. It has some foot guns, sort of, is how to say it. I'm just catching up on the Rust conversation. They're saying that there's a, a version of Rust without the biochecker. You can get a modded version. It's pretty fun. Let's use some of Rust. It's semi-safe. Can't you just use unsafe or whatever? The final thing we have to solve tonight is UI related. It's what happens if you enter a session ID that's not correct. Because currently we are a little aggressive on the joining and we add a world even if the session fails. So in this case, right here, we need to, that was the wrong join button. I need join tube, excuse you. So this time if I join, nothing happens. Create a session. Session ID. Perfect. Now we're super bright because we have we have a world on top of a world because we triggered that twice. It's pretty funny. That's interesting. We can connect multiple lambdas, eh? Obviously, this doesn't take a func. This is part of my sleep deprivation, but that doesn't take a parameter, so we can just try that one more time. Fail. Join. Get the code. AAA. Leave. Join. BBB. Leave. Fail. Join. Join. Create session. Yes, that would be a problem right there if you tried to do that. Am I making something that is industry standard battle tested? PC head, that's fine. Take it easy. You're going to be all right. Nothing. We're just fixing bugs. We had a big discussion about Rust versus... I wonder why that... I wonder why it goes through there sometimes and not other times. That's interesting. Whee! I think there's something wrong with the collision shape of this ball. Seems to be fine, right? Maybe just tap it up a second. Try it that way. Yeah, it just goes through. It goes straight through. Something about the physics here that's interesting. It's probably because we are too aggressively setting the ball physics here. Shoot. This. Try that. It's going to come out of our face a little closer. Sleep is important. I work way better when I sleep, like tremendously. I miss my teenage years when I could just sleep instantly and just nothing could wake me up. I was invincible. It goes right through. That's so weird. I wonder if we change this to a yeah, it is that there is a setting to make it more robust, it's slower, but I'm pretty sure you think if we just reduce the force like when we shoot, we'll have it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's really based on the fact that it's like a cylinder. So I want to try one of these as a cylinder. I'm messing up the demo project. Ugh. But that's just how we work. Okay, the tallest tree is now going to be a box. And debug visible collision shapes. Oh, the speed is significant. What's it? You know, it's called tunneling, is what the experts call it. But why is it tunneling? I would expect. No, I mean it's just what tick it is. It's a physics tick. So if it hits the box, whoa, it's going through consistently. If I'm close, like no. I feel like I haven't observed this exact kind of behavior before because projectiles I've made don't behave this way before. I think there's something wrong with my project. It's not that. I think it's because maybe it's this mass that I keep playing with. I'm playing with this mass a lot. Is it because it's a sphere? Okay. Continuous CD is a very good tip. That is true. We have on the rigid body the ability to do that, I believe. Solver, there it is, continuous. Let us not change anything else because we don't want to do multiple variables. And yeah, they're just bouncing like super continuously. Oh, they're just so much fun. Oh, you know what we can do? We can just add a bounce material to this. Just a little bit of bounce. Why not? Like, we'll keep it moderate. 0.3. Oh, God. This is going to get wild. They're bouncing on each other too because I made them so big. No, they don't see each other. They're bouncing on me. This is so silly. What did I do with the physics shape on the thing? I put radius 1. I guess I was just like, okay, well, it's got to be smaller. Okay, rewind. Set mass. Okay. We're having fun, but yes, continuous solver, like, it was literally the ticket. Yeah, it's more expensive, but we're getting consistent bounce behavior. They're not bouncy anymore because I undid that. And okay, so that makes sense. I like all that. We'll add that. Should we add the bounce material? To what value? That's the other question. 1. I've played with bounce on my other games and so now if I join in with another session, you just see all these balls bouncing around. That's so much fun. I feel like we've kind of like, we're kind of like in a kind of a game dev zone, you know? It's just like we got bouncy balls now. The only thing I need to fix is that when I tilt my camera up to extreme angles, I'm not really shooting right perfectly, but maybe that will get a pass. It's very silly. Yeah, and like it would be a pain in the ass to like track all of these projectiles, especially if they're this long lived. It's not a big deal if they're not like long lived, but you would need to spawn these on a player that joined. If you did not have a multiplayer spawner, you would literally have to have someone who has all of them tell the player that they're there when they join. And if they have authority over any of them, you need to clean them up when they leave, like, or pass the authority to someone else. So that manual management of these things is a disadvantage. And one of the reasons we do like multiplayer spawner and multiplayer synchronizer. But again, like you can go all the way down to netcode and do your own transport layer, you know, for synchronizer, and do your own RPCs for spawning. And I could see that spawner would be less useful in a game that wants to maintain like a deterministic set of conditions over like a card game or a strategy game. Maybe it moves a little slower and there's a world that needs to be dictated by a server. Maybe even something in Go or Rust or something, a backend, you could have your game being played over JSON or HTTP or some other transport layer. At that point, you wouldn't need a whole lot of this stuff, but we're making real-time games. That's what. Yeah, it's really bugging me that they don't come straight out of the perfect point in the camera, right? I know it's not a big deal. I'm not a perfectionist. Oh, I haven't tried making a cursor in the center with a panel. That's kind of an interesting idea. What if this was 1 or 2? No, let's do 4. Let's do 8. Let's do 4. Yeah, 4 pixels. Full rect center. Ah, he's so small. You don't see it. We do. What if we do 5? 5. There it is. And then pivot offset. Our new pivot offset ratio. 0.5, 0.5. That's not the right tool here. Okay, so that's having unexpected things because this is the panel itself, not a child within. I usually do this with a child inside a center. So I was trying to see if I could just use a whole panel itself, which is like definitely. Oh, if I do minimum layouts, do we have minimum container sizing? Let's see. I don't see. Oh, custom minimum size. Yeah. And now when we go full rect to center, there it goes. It's perfect. It's in the center. So I'm making a little. That's just going to be too big. 8 is going to be too big. So I'm going to go 5. 5, 5. Let's try that. Then border radius, obviously 5. There we go. It's a circle. It's a perfect circle. Nice. And then you have to do mouse pass through so that we can actually move our mouse. Very pleasing. I don't know if we'll do that. But the last thing we're going to do, and it's the thing I've been working on myself up to, is camera center position as the position here. Let's think about it. I think I just have to read the docs. Projection. Project ray, normal, project position, unproject position. Very cool. Seems like maybe the projection. We're not really sure. We'll see what that's got on it. Oof, that's not what we want. A projection matrix is a little. We're just looking for like the camera, like middle center point. It's time for Google. Camera center point. Get anchor mode. The get visible rect technique I have seen. Here's the thing. What if we're already got it good enough? But we're doing something wrong in terms of the angular velocity and how we apply this force to the ball. It's very unsophisticated purposely, but here we zero out the I said +1. Okay, so that just doesn't zero out. That just pluses it. So yeah, did accomplish bringing it up. And in front of us. But I think the dir that we're facing and then this vert. Why didn't multiplying here work? I think this didn't work at all. Because I think, yeah, these are in conflict with each other. I'll have to look at something that gets the up down properly, because right now no, it really is this position thing, because this position needs to be determined by where this vert is as well. But that doesn't make sense. It would be more like vert times 1 or something like that. Let's just see what that looks. Yeah. not quite what we're looking for. It follows my mouse a little better, but it's like we do need the camera rather than our position. That doesn't really. Does that help? Because the camera isn't really changing position. Would be static here. This is tough because I'm not as good at this 3D stuff. I did it well like the first time, but now that it's getting a little more precise and it's shooting, I need to go consult some docs. So I'll probably do that offline because this is just getting a little silly. It's a little silly. This is just going to be wrong, I think. Yeah, it's just kind of just below and just above. It's at vector 0. I don't want to fuck with it too much. I think I'll just do it when I'm fresh. So, reviewing. Ball got bigger. Box shape. Gotta revert that. Perfect. You've got to cast away from the screen to find the hit point. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was hoping I could shortcut it, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, that's a great tip again. That's how most of them do it. Um, and camera, as we saw in the documentation, has lots of things for built in for projecting rays. We just get the center of the screen, project the ray. It can be like 50 meters. And I say, direction 2, perhaps. Maybe. I don't know. There's also like a dot product and stuff like that, right? Like, you know, I know it's in my other code in a couple other places. So, and there's other like good ways to do it in terms of shooting, but um, I want to make sure it's simple enough that it doesn't like complicate the project. So for now, we could just have them. This vert is like kind of wrong. So I think I might pull that out for now. Just have them shoot in a straight line. So if it doesn't feel right, why add it? And when I say it doesn't feel right, basically, if I shoot down, it shoots down. If I shoot up, it shoots up. It just doesn't follow my cursor. Also, this bounces too much. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna do bounce. It's just kind of some stylistic things, like, you know, what's gonna be easier for people. And I think maybe in my mind, this imperfect one is just good enough. Like it doesn't follow my cursor all the way up here is kind of the problem. That's the only problem. But when I point down, it shoots. When I point up, but the adding the cursor makes the issue more pronounced. Decisions. But these are all like player character things that are not material to the actual final game we're building or even the demo. And this is mostly about networking. So I have to decide if I even want to take the time to build like a little reticle. It's pretty quick. It is a feature when I get to bow and arrows. And that to me, I think is the reason not to have the reticle. It's a good test though. It's a good test. And to revert our shoot script, because this is not a permanent thing. It just goes in a straight line. And we can do it better when we get to the point where it just felt so weird without it though. It felt so bad. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna do it right. Because this will be like when you share this friend when people share this with their friends, like at least they'll have at least something kind of to do. And part of that is like at least having balls that shoot as you expect rather than just kind of roll out of your body. And it's going to be great. So we'll keep that and I'll rework that tomorrow, I think. There's not much else. Perfect. Excellent. Only other thing I'm going to add is like the input disabled. If you don't have anything written in the menu session ID, I think this thing should start disabled. Is disabled. Now I'm confused because I feel like this just has a thing. Am I crazy about this? Line edit doesn't have a disabled? Is it this? What is it? What is the command? Am I crazy? Editable. Okay. Different than web. Editable. I swear it was disabled in a previous version. But I can see why editable is a better choice. Godot knows best. I'm getting really sinful here. Isn't this valid? Can I do I think I can do this, but it's not this way, is it? No. Because I know you can extend these. Yeah. Okay. Make a func. So should it handle? On username. I'm overthinking. I hate having to do two things in a Lambda. But we want to not do it on username session IDs. I'm getting very sleepy. Handle session on update session ID. There we go. So that's really the only thing. What the fuck did I... Yeah, we're very tired. That's the third strike right there. So whenever I'm working late at night, we have a 3-strike policy. We can continue to edit our code until we reach 3 strikes. We make 3 stupid errors. That's when you got to cut it off. You just got to be like, now you're in the... You're out. There's always a policy. That is a policy I developed from late nights working at jobs where, you know, sometimes you're having fun, right? And you don't want to stop, and you think you can get to that last thing, and it's... Nah, 3 strikes. Yeah, no, I mean, it's become a thing. So we disabled the wrong thing. Oh, Lord, this is bad, friends. This is bad. We should disable the button. Join tube rest. Disable the ego tree. This is what I was trying to do. We are in the it is gonna be good night for a second. There's an off button. Yeah, there is an off button. You have to, it's hard. It's especially impossible to press it on vacation for me. We don't need this. We can just do the func. All you gotta do is change it. But we could check that it's not empty, but wonder, we could do like a really bad ternary. I got in trouble working too much because I couldn't stop solving problems when I went home. I mean, it's a great thing to have, to be someone who is motivated and excited enough to work on problems. Those are the kind of people that, you know, companies like and who do great work. So the off button, you know, we've got to find it, and we've made a series of silly mistakes that indicate it is sleep deprivation plus goofy. So gonna get up fresh tomorrow, hopefully film this thing, break it up into different sections. It's not too crazy. The git diff is a lot shorter than I expected it would be, and it is all there. If you want to get it started early, you can grab it. It's all for y'all early access folks. Complete end to end. That's odd. Push. It works. So you can take this, extend it, start kind of thinking about your own RPCs that you want to add, your own health system, stuff like that, and The main tip I have for synchronizing RPCs is try to think in terms of narrowcast. Does everyone need to know this, or does the entire server need to know this broadcast? Then you just use RPC. And in this case, we actually need to talk about this in the video because we have RPC ID 1 to the server, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense now that we're a true peer-to-peer. So what we're going to do in the video is change this. But no. Oh God, I'm so tired though, because we still have an authority over these balls. And by default, that is the player 1. So that we do need to see. Silly. But players can normally tell if they're doing something more generic, they can tell everybody that they're hurt, or they're, you can tell one person they're hurt. Narrowcast versus broadcast helped me a lot. I'm going to make more videos, more topics, but definitely time for bed. Thanks for sticking around while we did a little bit of struggle. Yes, talk later. Good night.